Hi, I'm Colette BARON-REID, and I'd like to thank you for giving me the opportunity to share the Envision process with you. I'd like you to imagine your life right now as you wish it could be. Or if that's too much for you to visualize right now, then I would like you to imagine yourself feeling a deep sense of happiness and calm, really being at home in your skin. No matter what your past is, no matter what your story was and is, the life or the feeling you're imagining right now is what your spirit, your higher self, your divine self wants you to have and experience. Many years ago, if I were to try and imagine my life, or imagine that sense of calm or meaningful happiness, well, I can tell you that the gap between that feeling and vision and my actual circumstances seemed way too big and impossible to cross. As a rape survivor, drug addict, and alcoholic, you could say my default story was anger, shame, and a deep feeling that I was only worthy of more bad things happening in my life. And my default reaction to most situations were to self-medicate, avoid, and deep down expect the worst. I habitually embodied the worst. Looking back now at all I've accomplished, and this isn't to toot my own horn, but I have created best-selling books and oracle decks, workshops and seminars with thousands of people in the audience. I have my own TV show, a thriving coaching practice, I have an online school, and a wonderful marriage. And I can tell you that what's standing in the way of your not realizing your vision is not more hard work. It's not trying harder. It's not getting yourself more overwhelmed. And it's not about waiting for some external circumstance to change. And it isn't about what's happened to you in the past or has not yet happened for you in the present. One of my favorite quotes is from the poet Rumi, who said, "Your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it." In other words, over time, you, me, all of us, over the course of living our lives, we develop our patterns, our habits, our coping mechanisms, and our default ways of how we see ourselves and how we see the world. We rehearse and embody these things each day, which is why we see them repeat. Trying to seek for what you want is just spinning your wheels, doing more of the same things you've already been doing that aren't producing the results you want. And that's why setting intentions, making lists, putting sticky notes on your fridge or whatever, they're all important to create the motivation, but ultimately motivation and effort alone are not going to create lasting change. I can attest to this personally. I've tried all kinds of things, and I've devoted my life to studying the mind, spirituality, and as an intuitive and medium, I've seen the same truth for so many people. The barriers you need to seek to remove are in your subconscious mind. So let me explain. This is how nature designed the mind to work. As much as possible, the thinking aware part of your mind has to hand things off to your subconscious, which then runs the habits and patterns that have been laid down in the neural pathways of your brain. And this bypasses the rational thinking part of the mind. Think about it. Nobody would rationally choose another unhealthy relationship. Nobody would logically choose to think and feel disempowering thoughts, and nobody wants to self-sabotage themselves, and yet these things happen to all of us. This is why I created Envision as a tool to reprogram your subconscious, and that's why Envision has been the reason that thousands of people I've worked with through my workshops and courses, and the thousands of people who've read my books, have been able to manifest real and lasting change. Up until now, the only way to experience the Envision process in depth was to take one of my workshops or to take the master coaching class, which is only offered once a year. But I wanted to create a simple and direct way for anyone to experience the effects of reprogramming their subconscious mind with the Envision process. So for the first time, no matter what your background is, no matter how much experience you already have with your personal development or you don't have, you can register for the Reprogram Your Subconscious Mind course and start using Envision now. As the title of the course suggests, this is not going to be just a deep theoretical discussion about manifesting your best life. This will be a life-altering journey that will deliver real results. In 4 lessons, you will learn new intuitive skills that will help you to literally bring about your own personal transformation. You will experience yourself in a miraculous new way and actively immerse yourself in the process of real change, effectively becoming more of who you really are, creating the life you really want as if by magic, and it's all powered by Envision. The following 4 ingredients are the skills you'll be learning that will enable you to build the new story of you, and we will repeatedly encourage you to engage with these 4 practices in a joyful and playful way. In 4 lessons, here's what we're going to explore. In Lesson 1, neutral observation. 2, empowered choice. 3, judgment-free self-compassion. And 4, immersion in expansive states of awareness. Each lesson starts with a video section where I'll teach you the concepts and show you examples of how they work. Once you've watched the videos, it's time to put your knowledge into practice. You'll start with the Home Play PDF download, and then you'll practice each of the processes using both the PDF and the guided audio. There's also a special journal for you to download and use each week. You can also download the transcript of all the videos for each lesson for quick reference later. I will be here with you every step of the way, and I'm ready to enter into this sacred relationship with you starting right now. Yes, this is a recorded video, but the energy of my intention is alive and activated just for you right at this moment, simply by your being here. Nothing happens by accident, and this is the perfect time for you. So speaking of synchronistic timing, this reminds me of Elizabeth Pfeiffer, who's one of the coaches who learned Envision in a workshop and then wanted to continue on to become a certified coach a few years ago. She was at a time in her life when she was launching her business as a healing practitioner, but she had only $300 left in her bank account. So as she began experiencing Envision, she discovered that in her subconscious were all the inherited beliefs about money that were blocking her. As often happens when you begin to shift and reprogram your story, a situation arises that would have triggered the old pattern. Well, she committed to this process, and guess what happened? I'd like to play you a snippet of an interview I did with Elizabeth, and she can tell you what happened next.
Shifting all of this ancestral subconscious money beliefs. And at the end of that, it was San Diego. We're going to San Diego, get the certification, take the class. And I went to my husband. I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I got to get $2,000. I have to go to San Diego. I have to get this certification. And he was like, well, I don't know. That's a lot of money. 2 weeks later, he gets a bonus for his job. And the next thing I know, he's like, here, go to San Diego. And from that moment on, every class that I took with you, it was like, okay, guides, you want me to do this? Show me the money, right? Show me the money so I can next go to divination, to Boston. Yeah. And it kept showing up, Colette, that entire year. I just kept making money and making money. And the next thing I know, probably, I guess, a year later, I made all that money back.
So I wanted to share that interview with you for 2 reasons. First, is that issues around money or fear of living in a state of lack is one of the most common barriers we all have. The second is that while reprogramming the subconscious mind makes sense to people who are more logically oriented, a spiritual component is there regardless of how you label it. And I do want to mention that today, Elizabeth has a flourishing healing and coaching practice and has herself created groundbreaking original healing processes. She's worked with clients all over the world, and she is living her dream today. Those who are like Elizabeth and are open to it will see it as a greater level of awareness of spirit and as a greater degree of spirit co-creating with you. Others may call it coincidence or good luck happening in their life, or may feel more comfortable with the rational explanation that simply developing the ability to respond to more situations in life rather than react to them will result in stopping problems before they start, and will result in a better ability to solve old problems in new ways. Wherever you fall on the spiritual spectrum, I encourage you to register for the course and see for yourself. Don't miss this opportunity to get hands-on experience using the Envision process. You will get yourself unstuck by interrupting those autopilot patterns. You'll then detach from and transcend your old story so you can start creating the story you want to see when you look back at this moment years from now. To put it simply, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at begin to change. Take the Reprogram Your Subconscious Mind course and use Envision to give yourself a new perspective and see what happens. Thank you so much for the opportunity to share the Envision process with you. I hope I'll see you in Lesson 1 of the course.